at the Sports Business Journal is that on the latest proposal, because the WNBA did come back with a proposal, the revenue share split was not beyond 15%. Yep. And the PA previously asked for 30%.
And they currently have 9.3% right now.
So they still trying to get this 30. So we all know that 30% is.
The players came to the table asking for a 30% share of league revenue. Right now, they received just 9.3%, and the league's response was to raise that number to only 15%. Think about that for a moment. This is a league coming off the most profitable season it's ever seen, a surge fueled in large part by a single rookie's impact. Yet when players pushed for a deal that would essentially triple their share, ownership countered with an increase of less than 6 percentage points. At this stage, it no longer feels like routine bargaining. It feels like a challenge, almost an invitation for players to consider walking away. And judging by the conversations happening privately, that possibility is becoming more real by the day.
And as of right now, I don't think that they're going to get it, which lead me to believe we're that much closer to a lockout, bro, because the owners are not budging. They're not going to give them this 30% that they want.
So it's one of those ridiculous, it's an increase, but come on, it's
nominal at best. And in some ways, it almost feels like the league is daring them to strike, because if you come back with a proposal that makes no kind.
Here's the part that should worry every WNBA supporter. Yes, the league responded to certain concerns. They upgraded charter travel policies, added protections requiring consent before trading pregnant players, and rolled out a detailed list of 37 proposed improvements. On the surface, it sounds like meaningful movement. But when you peel back the layers and focus on the central issue, the one that matters most to the players, the league's answer was essentially no. The adjustments feel incremental, almost cosmetic, designed to signal cooperation without delivering real change. And that's why the criticism holds weight. It doesn't feel like collaboration. It feels like pressure, like the league is backing the players into a corner and forcing them to make the next move.
The key issue. And I do understand the league's perspective, because they feel like, well, they came back and they addressed some of the other concerns. There was a whole checklist here. They have 37 improvements, And so, yeah, a lot of people did get a kick out of the whole league pass thing, and they were making fun, but there were some real things in there,
Yes.
Related to team charter travel and pregnant player trade consent, other things that really do.
Watch the timeline closely, because it's not random. NBA All-Star Weekend is right around the corner. At the same time, the WNBA Players Association shared old clips on Instagram of NBA players striking during All-Star festivities. That wasn't nostalgia. It was a message, a signal. They're clearly studying past labor battles, lining up their leverage, and hinting at what could happen if talks stall. According to Sports Business Journal, one possible next step could be a WNBA player picket line during NBA All-Star Weekend. Consider the optics. The most high-profile weekend in basketball, cameras everywhere, global media attention, and WNBA players outside with signs demanding fair compensation, while NBA stars walk the red carpet. From a public relations standpoint, that's the scenario the league would least want to see unfold.
From the league's perspective, they're probably feeling like, well, we came back and we gave you some things, other asks that you say are important to you. Also, according to reporting from SBJ, there's a sense that a WNBA player picket line could be the next move, potentially at NBA All-Star. I find it interesting that the Players Union recently posted on their Instagram account video discussing when the NBA players did a strike at the NBA game, at NBA All-Star. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. The closer you get to...
Here's where things start to get messy. The regular season is set to tip off in May, but there's a lot that has to happen before then. The league still has to run an expansion draft for Toronto, open and manage free agency, and officially schedule the rookie draft. And this year isn't typical. Everything is being planned around FIBA international competition. The WNBA had already built in a mid-season pause so players could represent their countries overseas. That calendar is tight. So if negotiations stall and a work stoppage stretches into April or May, it's not just about pushing back opening night. It could throw the entire summer into chaos, including international tournaments that are already locked onto the global schedule. Once that timeline shifts, the ripple effects will be immediate and hard contained.
Agreements reached, it just seems unlikely for the start date that they're planning. But it also, to me, increases the likelihood of some kind of potential work stoppage, Tarika.
There are so many things that still need to happen between now and the time that a season starts.
And that's exactly where the players' leverage comes in. The league simply cannot afford to sacrifice this season. Not after the surge of momentum in 2024. Not after Caitlin Clark drove record-breaking ratings and packed arenas across the country. Not after new expansion franchises committed $50 million apiece with the expectation that everything would launch on schedule. The timing of these negotiations has shifted the balance of power. The players understand the pressure points, and the league does too, which sets the stage for the other side of this unfolding story.
Caitlin Clark has dropped new workout footage, and we got an update that fans might want to listen to about the CBA negotiation. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Wendy, and we going to jump right into this one, man. So if you guys have not heard, Caitlin Clark is back in the gym getting ready for two things. That's Team USA basketball, and that is the return of the 2026.
While the league's business talks inch toward a possible work stoppage, Caitlin Clark is focused on something entirely different, the grind. Her photographer, Bree, recently shared fresh 5-on-5 clips, and it's obvious she's not coasting through the offseason. She's gearing up for two major goals: Team USA action in Puerto Rico in the coming weeks and the 2026 WNBA season. Assuming labor talks don't derail, eye in the footage. She's working mostly solo. No other Indiana Fever teammates in sight. Sharpening her off-the-dribble shooting and finding her rhythm again. The timing stands out. Clark could easily be waiting to see how CBA negotiations unfold. Instead, she's operating as if opening night is guaranteed. Training with purpose, staying locked in, and quietly signaling that she's ready no matter what happens off the court.
Now, these are the shoes that Caitlin Clark had on today. A lot of people have been saying that Caitlin Clark's shoes could be tied to the Parent Trap movie. She actually talked about this on social media. I think this is it. But this right here is what people were saying. Caitlin Clark stated, I guess, never confirmed what those were. LOL, don't worry, I have super cool stuff coming this season too. He. So these could be Parent Trap Kobe 5s. Because no one ever seen these.
Let's start with the shoes, because that storyline took on a life of its own. Fans began speculating that the sneakers Caitlin Clark wore in her latest workout clips were inspired by the Parent Trap. She jumped on social media to clear the air, saying she never confirmed what they were, and teasing, "Don't worry, I have super cool stuff coming this season too," followed by a laughing emoji. Some even guessed they might be a rare Kobe 5 colorway nobody's seen before. Whether that's true or not, it's savvy. Keep people guessing. Hint at what's ahead. Build anticipation. Clark understands how the spotlight works. Every workout clip, every quote, every pair of shoes becomes content. And she's navigating that attention carefully. Even while the league's labor situation hangs in the balance, here's the fascinating contradiction. The face of the league is preparing for a season that could be delayed by a labor fight over revenue she helped generate. Last year, Clark pulled in 3.2 million viewers to WNBA broadcasts, packed arenas in markets that hadn't previously paid attention to women's basketball, and fueled a merchandise surge that left retailers scrambling. The financial bump was undeniable. Now, players are pushing for a larger share of that growing pie. Clark isn't directly involved in CBA negotiations as a second-year player, but her impact is woven throughout this dispute. The players' demand for 30% revenue sharing exists because, for the first time, they have real leverage, and that leverage exploded during her rookie season. Ownership's smaller counteroffer reflects a league that historically operated from a position of caution. But this isn't the old WNBA anymore. It's coming off its strongest year yet, with $50 million expansion fees and a looming media rights deal that could redefine its economics. So, when you see Clark in the gym, training publicly and preparing for Team USA while acting as if May tip-off is guaranteed. That's a signal too. She's moving forward like the season is happening. In negotiations, projecting certainty matters. The side that looks unsure often loses ground. By continuing to train, build hype, and command attention, she reinforces the league's value, even as the business side wrestles over percentages. Now, the next phase is critical. If the Players Association stages a picket at NBA All-Star Weekend, this shifts from closed-door bargaining to a public pressure campaign. That's when media intensity spikes. Sponsors start paying closer attention, and fans begin forming opinions. The league will highlight its 37 proposed improvements, travel upgrades, expanded protections, incremental raises, and argue that it's negotiating responsibly. Players will counter with record attendance, record ratings, expansion checks, and Clark's measurable impact. They'll ask why revenue sharing jumps only from 9% to 15% when league value appears to have multiplied. Public perception could become decisive. After witnessing last season's breakthrough, many fans may struggle to accept the idea that the league can't afford a larger increase, especially with expansion investments and new media deals on the horizon. So, what's the likely outcome? There are three plausible paths. A late compromise. The league returns with an offer closer to the mid-20% range. Both sides claim progress. The season tips off on time without a delayed start. Talks drag into April, forcing a shortened or compressed schedule that collides with international commitments without a strike. A significant portion of the season is lost, and the momentum from 2024 takes a serious hit. The most probable scenario feels like the first, but only after pressure peaks. A deal in the 22 to 25% range, perhaps tied to future revenue benchmarks, could allow both sides to save face. If ownership instead digs in below 20%, they risk more than a bad headline. They risk stalling the league's biggest growth moment in history. For now, the clock is ticking. Clark keeps training. Negotiations continue, and the calendar keeps moving toward May. The real question isn't just whether 30% is justified. It's whether holding firm at 15% is worth jeopardizing the season, and potentially the strongest surge of momentum the league has ever experienced. What's your prediction? Compromise at the last minute, or a work stoppage that reshapes the future of the WNBA.